Dear students, welcome to today's class. It's a small attempt to study MA English syllabus of IGNOU University in a simple way. It can be treated as a note. Today we are discussing about the British novel volume 1. First of all, we discuss about some aspects of fiction. We can study what is fiction and a small description of fiction. The 18th century is the century of prose as well as the rise of the novel. The novel is a realistic form. The concept of mirroring or reflecting an object is more significant in the case of novel than it would be in the case of poetry or drama. While reading a novel, we may feel that we have been transported to a different world with its own laws, rules, and regulations. Isn't fiction a non fact, a lie? While poetry and drama are also invented and imagined, they cannot be equated with a lie. On the other hand, they are high truths. That is why novel associated with fiction and poetry and drama talk about truths. Walter Allen, in his book The English Novel, has drawn our attention to the issue of artistic representation. Characters in a novel symbolize specific attitudes in a given society, and the writer conveys through them those significant impressions which she or he has gathered from the surroundings. This means that characters in the novel cannot be constructed and rendered flesh and blood unless they are placed in identifiable circumstances of our own world. The novel is different from history in one important respect. History, as we see, it is a long, continuous process without a tangible as well as an end. It goes on unfolding itself beyond its specific actors of a period. It's men and women who are active within it to influence and change it. On the other hand, the novel begins at a particular point of life in society as well as ends at another point. The 2 points in the novel, recognized and chosen by the author, are extremely significant because between them lies that segment of second life, the same history, the segment of social life. The same history may be different in views of two historians. This is because history is no single person's or group creation. In contrast, the novel is an author's creation. Now we are going to study something about the evolution of the novel. How novel evolved. The term literary history denotes that there is a direct linkage within literature between works written in the past with those written later, and that, in a manner of saying, literature produces out of itself. Under this scheme, the author is merely seen as molding the available literary material to suit his or her cultural requirements and extending the literary horizon a bit further. Earlier, the act of marriage reminded us of the considerations of social propriety, class distinction, and religion. It was truly social. However, things changed radically in the first quarter of 18th century, compelling people to consider marriage a whole set of new considerations: morality, ethics, love, courage, commitment, In the early 18th century in England, the rise of periodical magazines or pamphlets happened. Now we are going to discuss the novel as a comedy. Comedy in the 18th century differed from that in the 17th century. It became lighter in vein and dealt with those which would be easily resolved. Can we adequately define love and marriage? Love is a relationship between two persons who are relatively free from social constraints. The journey to marriage is more or less smooth affair. So, dear students, today we discussed and studied about some uh, introductory elements of British novel. Thank you all.